Well, it's almost game day on Rocky Top. The home opener with Austin Peay. That is tomorrow. And how many points should Tennessee win by? That and a whole lot more. Your official preview for Tennessee's home opener. It happens right now on Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to the weekend, almost, and we're going to get that started, your tailgate started, right here on Locked On Vols. I'm Eric Cain. Appreciate you guys for being here. Hashtag everydayers, every damn day. Couldn't do it without you. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. That is your team every single day, and Locked On Vols is your first listen every single day. I appreciate you guys watching, subscribing on the YouTube channel, for subscribing and listening wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you in part by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Got a fun show coming up. What did Josh Heupel say throughout the week in preparation for Austin Peay? My keys to the game, Cain or keys in segment 2, and finally, who is Austin Peay? We haven't really gone over personnel much this week because, hey, it is what it is. But I'll tell you everybody that you need to know about Austin Peay. That is coming up later in the show. So, wanted to play some clips from Josh Heupel. And, we get to hear Josh Heupel on Monday, and we played some of those clips. We get to hear him on Thursday. And guys, he's just never really that good. Again, reminder, 2 weeks ago, he talked for 4.5 minutes. But he was on Vol calls, Calhoun's on the River. And he actually was pretty candid with some things. And so I went ahead and pulled that audio yesterday. Of course, it was Wednesday night, 9:30 when he was on the radio, or 8:30, whatever time it was. And I didn't have it on yesterday's show because it was kind of late at night. But I wanted to go ahead and pull some clips here. And a lot of it had to do with injury. And he was pretty truthful about it. What we do know is Tennessee's going to be without linebacker Keenan Pili for a little bit. We talked about that on yesterday's show. And Josh Heupel was asked about Keenan Pili, and here's kind of what he had to say.
Yeah, we hate it for Keenan, hate it for us too, but most of all for Keenan. Another guy that comes in the transfer portal. As a player, he's better than I anticipated. Continued to grow in just his football movement. He's extremely smart and bright. Excuse me. But became a great team leader too. He's really mature. He came in and worked for it, and then grew to have a voice. And I hate that for us on the defensive side of the football. Anticipate, as we go over the next couple of weeks, we'll kind of figure out what the timeline is for him. Hopefully, we're able to get him back here in the middle part of the season. But someone that you just hate it for. He was excited. He wanted to play inside of that stadium. Sure. He wanted to go through Vol Walk, and you hate that he's not going to have the opportunity here for a couple of weeks to not be on the field with us.
I think something important to note from there was here in a couple of weeks, we're going to evaluate the timeline. So, he could be out for 2-3 weeks, whatever the case is, but it sounds like he's going to be out much longer than that. And Josh Heupel still doesn't believe it's going to be season ending, but I think the key thing to remember there is here in a couple of weeks, we'll make a plan. Here in a couple of weeks, we'll kind of decide what that timeline is. And so it just sucks. Again, we talked about it on yesterday's show. I hate that for Keenan Pili. I do, because he legit looked like an NFL guy out there. I was talking with a buddy earlier this week, and he was like, man, Keenan Pili looked like an NFL backer out there. I don't know if he's good enough, but he looked like one on Saturday against Virginia. And I agree, man, 240-plus, run around there making plays, have the game ball. It just stinks. But we'll see. We'll see how quickly he can come back. A guy that's pretty much sounds like he's going to be back for Florida is center Cooper Mays. He's going to be ruled out officially for this game tomorrow. Cooper Mays will not play. Josh Heupel said that, but he was also pretty candid in saying, we're going to make sure he's ready for Florida. Here's what Josh Heupel said when asked about Cooper Mays on Vol calls this week.
Yeah, Coop, he's been with us on the field. We will not play him in this one, and that's just in preparation for the following week. Make sure that he's 100%.
Again, Josh Heupel never is that in-depth with us, okay? He pretty much just said, we're going to make sure he's ready to go 100% for Florida. He's not going to play this week, but he's been out there. He's been practicing a little bit. He's been on the grass, off to the side. So that was good. And when you're going down to the swamp and you need all your best players readily and available, having Cooper Mays back, albeit he'll be out of shape, albeit he'll be trying to work to get back into playing shape and all that type of stuff. But having your guy out there to lead that offense, because, again, the tempo always starts at the center, that will be huge. So, obviously, we'll keep tabs on Cooper Mays. Not going to play this week. Of course, Elijah Simmons not going to play this week. Now, Keenan Peely's not going to play this week. But Cooper Mays is not going to play this week, but it sounds like he is well on the way to playing coming up in the Swamp. So that's about some injuries that Josh Heupel was pretty candid about on Ball Calls, which was, of course, really, really good to hear. But what are some areas that Tennessee can get better? And we talk about on the show, special teams for sure, no offensive lulls, all that type of stuff. What does Josh Heupel say when asked that question at Ball Calls? How Tennessee can get better? Again, this is going to be he won't say this, but it's going to be Tennessee versus Tennessee. It's going to be a lot of we're playing ourselves this week. How does Josh Heupel answer that? This was on Ball Calls the other night.
Man, there's not one area, man. Like offensive line, we can be a little bit better in finishing some of our blocks on our double teams as we combo up to linebackers. There's some things at the wideout position that we got to clean up. Could be alignments, could be how we're recognizing coverage. Joe can make smarter decisions at times when it's not right and get to a check down. Defensively, structure-wise, there's still some gap integrity stuff that we got to clean up on a couple of their big runs. There's some things in their pass coverage that we can continue to clean up. At this point in the season, coaches find a lot of things at every position group that they got to continue to get better at.
Well, yeah, it's the beginning of the season. Again, it will never be a finished product. There will never, ever be a perfect football team out there for as long as this game is in existence. Nothing is ever perfect in this game. The only thing that was perfection, in my belief, is, when Jesus Christ, was on this earth. Again, that's sidebar, not getting religious here, but my point is there will never be a perfect football game. But you need to make some big-time adjustments. You need to make some big-time leaps from week 1 to week 2, week 2 to week 3, especially early in the football season. So a good opportunity here this week with Austin Peay coming to town, because it's nothing but a glorified scrimmage. Something I'm going to be looking forward to, and I'll talk about it here in a moment in segment 2, and I give you my Caner keys. But Josh Heupel has asked about this at Vol Calls as well. The front four, boy, did it get after Virginia. Would love to see that happen again this week against Austin Peay.
The front four is where it starts for me. They were playing vertical. They were playing on the edges. I showed the team a clip on Monday in our team meeting. There's one clip. They're running outside zone. We got 4 defenders that are 4 yards back with the guy that's blocking them after 2 steps. They just played relentless. They played with energy, but they played with great technique too. And you could see that with all of the guys that played. We played a bunch of guys, and most of them had between 20 and 30 snaps. And, I thought then, outside of the run game, they affected the quarterback in the pass game too, and everybody sees the stats, the tackles for loss and the sacks. But I thought our second and third levels did a really good job in the run game too, fitting everything up, tackling well in space for the most part, and I thought our pass defense was solid. We played with good technique on the perimeter, and then obviously we just got after the quarterback too.
Josh Heupel on his defense, Josh Heupel on his front four, and I'm expecting a field day for that Tennessee defensive line, just very much like it was, last week against Virginia. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, and we'll see exactly, what transpires in that regard. Hey, when we come back, my keys to the game, again, glorified scrimmage, but what do I want to see from Tennessee tomorrow against Austin Peay? That and a whole lot more. That's coming up next right here on Locked on Vols. I want to tell you about our friends over at Nutrafol, okay? You don't have to choose between better hair growth and your health. Nutrafol provides a whole-body health approach for men that promotes healthier hair. No drugs, no compromises, just better hair. Men, tired of weakening or thinning hair? Do you want to reach your full hair potential? Leading hair growth supplement, Nutrafol, helps improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage throughout the process. Nutrafol is #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their hair health wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better health coverage throughout your whole hair wellness check. Take the first step in visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Find out why 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men, then enter that promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code LOCKEDONCollege. All right, good Friday morning. Welcome back into it. Segment number 2 of a Friday Locked On Vols. College football season is here right now. And this year, Locked On's kicking up our coverage with Locked On College Football Kickoff Live each Friday. So coming up later this morning from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, every Locked On YouTube channel is going to house Locked On College Kickoff Live. The Locked On Football Kickoff Live will cover playoff implications. The conference rivalry games go in depth only with Locked On host Cain in each specific market. Again, that's 11 to 1 Eastern, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be on every single Locked On College YouTube channel, so you don't want to miss it. And we'll see if I have another appearance coming up later this morning. Okay, guys, what are my Cainer keys of the game? It's a scrimmage. It is a glorified scrimmage. That's all it is. It's Tennessee versus Austin Peay. There's not a whole lot to say about this one. So I want to see a lot of the same. I want to see a lot of what Tennessee did against Virginia last week, and I want to see Tennessee do it and do it more against Austin Peay. First little bullet point I have is Nico, because of the chant last week. Now, again, hear me, guys. Joe Milton starting quarterback. Joe Milton's QB1. Joe Milton's face the franchise. All right? But it's important for Nico to get some work in this week. It's important for Nico to get a lot of work in this week. I mean, he needs to get at least 2 quarters of work, in my opinion. There should be no reason for Joe Milton to come out and play the second half. There should be absolutely no reason for that to happen. Tennessee should be up 30 points by halftime. Again, I some of you guys have wrote me messages and everything, and I hear you. I understand the basic principles of football. Never talk down about an opponent. Never think that they, are not a worthy opponent, all this type of stuff. But guys, this is a payday. This is not a good football team. This is Tennessee versus Austin Peay. Tennessee should literally win by 50 points. I mean, that line when it comes out Saturday morning is going to be 50 points. So again, I understand where you're coming from, but not this week. Tennessee should absolutely pummel Austin Peay. So it's just by how much, and how much should these guys get some work in. So there should be no excuse, no reason for Joe Milton to play in the second half. Nico needs that entire second half, and I'm all for getting some young guys who practice every single day an opportunity to play in the football games, but really, you need some growth and development time from Nico. So he needs to get 5, 6, 7 series, to be completely honest with you. So that's what I'm looking for, number one. Number two, I want that D-line to dominate again. You heard Josh Heupel talk about it when I played that clip in segment number 1. I want that defensive line to dominate. I want that defensive line to own the offensive line. I want James Pierce to live on the other side of the line of scrimmage. I want Roman Harrison to get home. I want a sack from an interior defensive lineman not named Tyler Barron in the Rabbits package. Can Omar Norman Law get back there? Can Amari Thomas get back there? Can maybe David Hobbs, who got 20-some-odd snaps the other day, can he get back there? Would be great to see. I want the defensive line to dominate. You flip over to the offense, or go back to the offense, I guess. I want to see the wide receivers and Joe Milton in sync. Very clearly not in sync, especially in the first half against Virginia. And that's okay. It's week number 1. It's game number 1. That is okay. You need to see Dante Thornton getting involved. You need to see Dante Thornton trying to make some plays because he was not in sync with Joe Milton in game number 1. Don't need to see another drop from Ramel Keaton. I mean, we know that. We're not going to continue to harp on that. That just doesn't need to happen. What will Austin Peay play? Are they going to play a light box and say, don't throw it over the head? If so, could be another Squirrel White game. If they load up the box and say, hey, we're going to stop the run, it could be we're going to throw it over the top. And to be completely honest with you, it doesn't matter what Austin Peay plays. Tennessee should dictate what Tennessee wants to do in this game. Again, because you are just faster, you are stronger, and you are a better athlete than that of Austin Peay. It just is what it is in these FBS, FCS beginning of the season matchups. It just is what it is. And so every team has them. But like if Tennessee, if they're playing just a light box, Austin Peay, and they're saying don't throw it over our heads, Tennessee should be able to run faster than those defensive backs, and it shouldn't matter. So let's see what happens. Let's see if they can get the wide receivers in sync. Let's see if they can get Dante Thornton involved early on, and let's see what this offense can look like. And then finally, I want to see, obviously, cleaner special teams, but I want to see a special teams touchdown. Now, are they going to kick the D. Williams? If I were Austin Peay, I would not kick the D. Williams, but they're going to punt an awful lot, okay? What can D. Williams do in the return game? What is he capable of doing? We know what he's capable of doing, but can he get a house call? I would love to find out. Also, he's back deep on kick returns. Can he maybe potentially be a guy that takes one to the house? D. Williams is one of the best returners in all the country in junior college a couple years ago. Like, he returned 7 kicks throughout his junior college career for touchdowns, or had 7 return touchdowns, whether it be punt or kickoff returns. He's a good player. I would love to see a special teams touchdown. I don't think Jackson Ross is going to get many opportunities, which kind of sucks because I don't anticipate Tennessee's offense punting an awful lot. Doesn't matter what offense is in there. I'm just not anticipating that. So would love to see Jackson Ross clean some things up, but I just don't know if he's going to have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But obviously I want to see some very, very clean special teams. That's pretty much it, guys. Again, it's Friday. We're just regurgitating this information. There's not a whole lot to add. It's Tennessee. It's Austin Peay. It's Tennessee versus Tennessee. You want to clean some things up. You want to put on a great show for the home crowd at Neyland Stadium. Game number 1. You're paying. You're honoring Condredge Holloway, which is awesome. 51 years to the day that he became the first black starting quarterback in the SEC right here at Tennessee. And so that's fun. You're gonna have fun uniforms. You're gonna have fun jerseys, and so I'm really, really looking forward to that. And we'll see exactly what happens. So that is what I'm looking forward to. What are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to seeing in this football game? Let me know at _Cainer and at Locked On Vols. Hey, when we come back, who is Austin Peay? I mean, seriously, it's kind of a silly question, but who is Austin Peay? We haven't really talked about Austin Peay personnel, but we will on the other side right here on Locked On Vols. Hey, buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Gametime is fast and an easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped up for all the fun that you are going to have. On that app, the Gametime app, flash deals and last-minute tickets made available. Easy to buy, easy to find, and it's for every single event in your area, not just sports. They show you images of your seats before you purchase, so you truly get a picture, literally, of what you're paying for. Plus, they got protection for you. Lowest price guarantee, cancellation protection, even job loss protection for you. That's not bad right there. I encourage you to go in and download the Gametime app, create an account, use that promo code LOCKEDONCollege, and when you do that, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, encourage you to create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Final segment left of this week's Locked On Vols. We're going to take a look at Austin Peay and tell you who exactly are the governors. Of course, this game is going to be streamed. If you're listening right now, it's not going to be on the SEC Network. It's not going to be on ESPN. It's going to be on the SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus, meaning you have to have a subscription. A couple years ago, the SEC passed that, not law, but passed that rule that says one game a year has to be streamed, trying to encourage, cord cutting and streaming and all that, because that's kind of where we are as a society, right? And that's this game this year. So 5 o'clock Eastern time, SEC Network Plus, ESPN Plus. That's what time the game is going to be. Head coach Scotty Walden, this will be his 3rd season. Last year, Austin Peay finished 2nd in the Atlantic Sun. They had a 7-4 record. They had the best defense in the conference, easily the best defense. They allowed 22.7 points per game and allowed only 317 yards of total offense a game. Led the conference by a large margin. Offensively, they weren't bad. They were top 4, 31 points per game. They were a really good run team, 189 yards rushing a game. But, with where we are in college athletics, boy, the transfer portal got him, and it got him in the worst way. Number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver, number 3 receiver, all transfer. That number 1 receiver, Dre McCray, 76 receptions, 1,021 yards, and 9 touchdowns. He's gone. transferred to Texas Tech. That is a huge, huge loss. James Burns, second leading receiver, had 6 touchdowns. He actually transferred to UConn, so Tennessee will see him at some point this year, no matter what. And the third leading receiver, or one of their lower-level receivers that left, is Kellen Stewart. So receivers gone. 2 all-conference defensive tackles, Demetrius Ford, Shamori Simmons. Both those guys transferred to Arizona State. Leading tackler, Antoine Williams, transferred to Western Carolina. Joseph Rudolph, second leading tackler, linebacker, transferred to Indiana. So if you are an FCS program and you have any semblance of success, you are going to get picked apart in the transfer portal. And it stinks, man. I mean, I hate it. I hate that aspect of the transfer portal because, I mean, these guys just get wiped clean, and it's unfortunate. It's not fair, but it just is what it is. So if you want the opportunity to go pick, the best of the batch, you got to move up to Power 5 and Division 1 and not be stuck in the FCS level, because that's going to happen as long as the transfer portal is the thing. What about the personnel? Well, offensively, it's not great. You've got Mike Delio, who's the quarterback. He's a 6-year quarterback. He spent his first 2 years at Florida Tech, 2 years at MTSU, and now he's in the second year at Austin Peay. In 2022, 2,497 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions against Southern Illinois, where in Week 1, Austin Peay lost 49-23. We're down 35-0 in the third quarter. Scored all their points in the second half. Scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. But again, down 35-0 in the third quarter at 1 point. The quarterback, Mike Delio, was 20 of 34, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Good run game, okay? Not in Week 1, but now it's Tennessee. Austin Peay, who averaged 189 yards on the ground a game last year. C.J. Evans and Javon Jackson, both those guys return, but they combined for 15 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown in Week 1. So the run game really just wasn't there. I mentioned the wide receivers, a bunch of guys that left and decided to go elsewhere. Not a great receiving day in Week 1, but Cam Thomas was the leading receiver for Austin Peay. He had 5 receptions, 72 yards, and a touchdown. He had Kenny Odom. Kenny Odom had 4 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown. And the leading receiver that was on Austin Peay last year that stayed while everybody else left, Trey Goodwin, he had 3 receptions, but he also had 4 touchdowns a season ago. And again, he was the leading receiver coming back after everybody left, excuse me, via the transfer portal. So not a whole lot of firepower offensively. In Week 1, the offensive line gave up 4 sacks. It averaged 1.7 yards per carry. Expect Tennessee to get more than 4 sacks on Saturday, and I'll be intrigued to see if Tennessee can limit Austin Peay to less than 1.7 yards per carry, because that's already very, very challenging to do. Defensively, again, you give up 49 points. You were down 35-0 at 1 point in the second half. Not a whole lot of defense to kind of hang your hat on if you're Austin Peay in Week 1. I mentioned everybody that left via the transfer portal. They did attack the portal, this being Austin Peay, in a big way, trying to replenish the personnel that was lost. Miles Richardson from Wofford, he was a safety coming over to Austin Peay via the transfer portal. A couple of linebackers, Christian Lewis from Albany and Tyler Long from Norfolk State. A couple of all-conference linebackers who came over, from their previous stops. A defensive back, Michael Rutland Jr. from Princeton, was an all-conference and all-Ivy League player. He's coming over to join the ranks at Austin Peay this year. But, really in a game that was not good, it was nobody really making any plays. You had a couple of double-digit tackle getters, but that's only because you played a lot of defensive snaps. Linebacker Tyler Long, one of the new guys over from Norfolk State, he had 16 tackles. A TFL, Sam Holland, a linebacker, he had 10 tackles. Hosa Kifley, also another linebacker, he had 9 tackles. So personnel's not good. It just kind of is what it is, and Tennessee should have its way with Austin Peay. But the story of the day is going to be the home opener at Neyland Stadium. The story of the day is going to be Condredge Holloway. The story of the day is going to be, jerseys. All that before you actually talk or think about the actual game, because it's just kind of one of those weeks. So Tennessee, get in there, get clean, stay healthy, look good doing it, and then all the focus about the Florida Gators coming up the next week in the Swamp. Guys, I appreciate you as always for tuning in, being here on Locked On Vols. The show is nothing without you, so I want to thank you for that so very much. I'll do my best to try to get something out there either super late Saturday night or maybe Sunday at some point in time. That way you don't have to wait till Monday. I will do my best to do that, and just get this one behind us, get everybody healthy, and boy, the next week's going to be a fun one. Tennessee, Florida in the Swamp. It's going to be a huge, huge week. It's going to be a big game for Tennessee. But first, it's Austin Peay in the home opener, and we'll recap it all right here on Locked On Vols. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.